Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I'm gonna be creating this video on this whole DHCP process. In the following videos, I'm gonna be creating DHCP configuration videos, like configuring firewall, server, switch, and so on and so forth. But this video alone will just go through the fundamentals. Now, between a DHCP client and DHCP server, just remember that the DHCP client doesn't always have to be a PC, and a DHCP server doesn't always have to be a server. Again, it can be a firewall, server, router, switch, and the client can be a phone. It can be all sorts of devices, right, that needs to communicate in the network. And within DHCP, again, DHCP is the automatic way of assigning devices IP addresses, DNS, default gateway, right? This is the automatic process. Each device you can always statically assign all the necessary information, but then it becomes problematic when you have like hundreds of other devices in your network and you need to manage them. And so we have DHCP for that. Now, DHCP, again, it can either be automatic, I guess to throw a device within a network, it can be automatic via DHCP, or it can be static or manual. And that's pretty much it. Either you do it automatically or you do it statically. If you do it statically, you don't need DHCP. Okay, but obviously you would always want to try to stick with DHCP, because then if you're trying to statically map your whole network, then you have a problem. But anyways, DHCP, it's short for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. And within DHCP itself, we have what we call the DORA process. DORA. And this is pretty much it. Once you understand this DORA process, then you pretty much got 90% of DHCP. And what the DORA process, it's an acronym. What it means is discover, offer, request, and acknowledge. It's an exchange between the client and the server. The client, once it's turned on, or once usually your PC, once it's turned on automatically by default, it should be set to DHCP. Within its network, it would broadcast. So assuming this server is in the same network as the client, it will go through the discover process, and within its network, it will say, hey, is there anyone in my network that will give me DHCP or information? And this is where the second part happens, offer. If in fact there is a server, right? If in fact you have a server within this network, it will go through the next stage, which is the DHCP server will respond and say, and it will offer a unique IP address to the client. Say, hey, you know what? How about that? Right? And then the client will ultimately, say, all right, so this unique IP address, is it all right if I rent it? Right, so then it goes back and say, hey, cool, can I rent it? And this is where the final stage happens, and the server will ultimately broadcast back to the client and say, yeah, you know what, let's do it. Let me go ahead and give you all of the information you need, the DNS, the default gateway, and the IP address. And all of this is happening on the broadcast level. And that's essentially what DHCP is and does, right? So let me explain it once more. Okay? So again, in this whole DORA process, discover, offer, request, acknowledge. The client here, it broadcasts, and it has to be on the same network. And if it's not on the same network, right, a device within the network has to be configured for what we call DHCP relay, which I will talk about later. But assuming that the server is in the same network, remember, same network, it will broadcast to find his friend. He will broadcast, hey, DHCP, where you at? Need help? I need help. Okay. And this, and where's my pen? Let's see. Pen. Okay. So again, it will broadcast out, and hopefully finds a DHCP server found in the same network. The DHCP server will respond and say, hey man, I got you, I will help you out, and here's a unique address. All right, what you think? And this is where in the request segment, the user will, or the end device will respond and say, cool, can I let me take this, and I would love to use this unique address. And at that point, the DHCP server will acknowledge that, right? And it will acknowledge the client to use the IP address, and then it will provide the client the lease IP address, lease time, and then it would also give other details like DNS servers, default gateway. And that's pretty much it. Again, discover, offer, request, acknowledge. Why is this important? And why is this important to know as an engineer or a sysadmin? Because at some point, right now we're only faced with, two users, or rather two devices. But what if you have like a server, a production server, and another server, right? Or what if you have hundreds of devices not able to hit its DHCP server? This is where understanding DORA is crucial, because let's say none of the devices in the network is getting DHCP, or it's not getting an IP address, and it's failing to hit the default gateway. Then you have an outage. Then you have hundreds of people. Or you know what? Let's say this actually happened. This is one night, your sysadmin or systems engineer, they decommissioned a DHCP server, right? And it's sitting in a network for hundreds of users. And next thing you know, morning comes and nobody can, go to their website, or no one can go online and no one can communicate with each other, right? The first thing you got to ask is, where is the DHCP server living, right? If you have hundreds of devices off the network all of a sudden, you have to ask, where is its DHCP server? And then from there on, you can go through the troubleshooting step, putting the DHCP server back, ensuring that all the devices are getting the right DNS, right IP address, right default gateway. Okay, and all of this, and all of this obviously you can look through and see in details via Wireshark. So you can turn on Wireshark on your PC, and you'll see broadcasts going back and forth between DHCP servers. But yeah, in short, this is the DHCP process. If you have any questions, drop a comment, let me know. The following videos, I'll keep going through this whole process again, the whole DORA process, as I'm configuring the switch, firewall, router, and server. All right, cool. Thank you.